Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. I'm a bit late today with the video as I was playing World of Warships till about midnight last night. And before I start, I quite like the new design of that Lamborghini, not Aventador, Huracan. Especially that front end, they tied it up quite nicely. But essentially that's just an Audi R8 in a sharp Italian suit. Anyway. As you know, the marriage industry and marriages all over the Western world have been in serious decline since second wave feminism in the mid-1970s. And as it kept on declining, governments are powerless to do anything about it, and women are starting to complain en masse on TikTok about it. But I've found little articles that indicate that people are questioning why from the man's point of view, which is, you could say, the MGTOW effect now becoming more predominantly in the mainstream media. The first article I found is this. As you can see, it's a site called Bonobology, and this was written on November the 26th, 2022 by this Indian lady. As you can see, 10 reasons why men don't want to get married anymore. And the caption, I just love my independence, and he's running away from her. The trend of men avoiding marriages is becoming more prevalent over time. So the mainstream media is starting to notice the MGTOW effect. Wonder why men don't want to get married anymore? ? And then it goes into reasons why. 10 reasons why men don't want to get married anymore. I don't want to get married anymore. This guy wants to move to Ecuador, get a house by the beach, live his dream life with a couple of dogs and a closet full of finest wine. Now it'll drop down. Men who never marry can sometimes end up living happier and more satisfying lives. So if you're on the fence about whether marriage is the right choice for you, irrespective of your relationship status, we can help you out a bit. You need to understand why marriage is not important as it's made out to be. And then as you drop down, we come to the reasons why. Don't need the paperwork. It says, don't need the paperwork. There are billions of people on this planet stupid to pretend otherwise, like me forever. They forget that a marriage certificate is a legal document which protects any children which comes from the marriage. And one of the reasons men don't want to get married is the idea of forever and happily ever after. And this one has smacks of feminism, women's independence and gender equality. Marriage rates are dropping. In America, 340,000 fewer marriages took place in 2020 than in 2019. A 16.8% drop is proof enough that men are avoiding marriage. So in America, 16.8% of the male population, you can essentially say, are MGTOWs. And as the structure of society has changed fundamentally, this is bullshit. The roles of men and women in marriage are under constant major transformation. Men are finding it difficult to adjust to a world where the patriarchy doesn't exist anymore. Giving up power is not easy at all. They seem to think that men have all the power. They forget marriage is a partnership. This is exactly the reason why so many failing marriages. No mention about women being picky before marriage and unfaithful when they are married. Men are also unfaithful as well, but women are the ones which get children, and in the number of children born that's not the husband's is debatable. Some men feel their laws are biased against them. In fact, there have been a rise in men's rights groups such as Men Going Their Own Way. They seem to think that MGTOW is a men's right group. And Manosphere, where men in droves complain about the unfair treatment meted out in relationships and family courts. Well, they got that right. For this reason, millions of men don't want to get married and are opting out of marriage altogether. This is the MGTOW effect. They're starting to notice it. One, men don't want to get married anymore. Deadlines of dreams. In the 20s, you have a dream what you want to do in your life. You can't do that once you get married. A lot of young men these days don't want to get married because of the apprehension that it'd put a pin in their goals and their plans. A silver lining for many is they don't have to worry about their ticking biological clock as much as women. That's why women in their 30s start getting baby rabies. Marriage changes men in fundamental ways, probably from a free horse to a cart horse. Divorce rates and struggle for child custody. This is also one of the major things. Waiting for the perfect soulmate. That's more women than men. They want Chad or Tyrone, 6-pack, 6-foot, 6-figure thunderbolt, cock thunderbolt. And family involvement can put people off the idea of marriage. That's your in-laws and that, saying when you're going to get married. Marriage means giving up independence. Of course it does. Instead of becoming single, you become part of a team. And then don't want to conform to everyone's expectations. No fear of loneliness. Why do people settle down? Because they want to experience a lasting sense of companionship and never be alone. Well, if you buy a dog, you won't be alone. I don't want to have a dog. Dogs are alright as long as there's somebody else's. I'm not into pets at all. I've got 2 cactuses and that's it. That'll do for me. Fear of being alone is ingrained, blah, blah, blah. And then the key pointers. Now that is that article. Zip forward several months to several weeks, to 13th of December. You get marriage.com. 5 reasons why men are not marrying. And then, don't want to get married, no friend benefits, 0 interest, blah, blah, blah. Perception of loss of freedom, more or less what the other article said. Fear about a potential divorce. This is one of the main things I've noticed in all the comments on the MGTOW video blogs. There are a lot of men out there who have seen the emotional and economic damage divorce brings to the family unit. Many are not marrying. Could be because they presume that a divorce is imminent. They fear it might make them overlook the benefits of getting married. Single men who avoid marriage may have grown up in a broken home, or they may have been there, done that, and don't want to ever find themselves in such a vulnerable position again. This article's got a lot more truth than the other article. Unwilling to make sacrifices? That's bollocks. Men make a lot of sacrifices for their family. Dating apps work out great. That's mostly if you're a woman. Need for awareness about benefits of marriage. And then, you seem interested in marriage and relationship. Would you like a letter? No, thank you. And then, the Daily Mail also jumped on the bandwagon. This was 23rd of January 2023. A psychologist, well, the 10 reasons why people don't want to get married anymore and staying single makes you happier. And Boris, idiot. Where is it now? Traditional reasons for marriage no longer matter. People marry when they're happier and less happy. Growing acceptance of cohabitating, used to be called living over the brush. Higher divorce rates paint a bad picture. This is the MGTOW effect. No independents show that marriage makes you happier and healthier, especially for women. The cost of weddings. Marriage is not promoted by UK government. I don't know about that. Women are doing fine doing motherhood alone. That's a load of rubbish. If they're doing fine on motherhood alone, why are there so many single mothers complaining on TikTok? People don't want to invest. Being born out of wedlock is no longer a social disgrace. No, but the child is classified as illegitimate, and the B word, which does affect the child as they grow older. People over the age of 50 may still raise an eyebrow about a child born out of wedlock, but most people won't. That because the morals have been lowered in this country. It's probably linked to the waning power of the church. Anyway, I don't want to go over the 10-minute mark, so. And I found this article, Wealth of Geeks, 12 reasons why men don't want to get married these days. And then it's more or less the same thing. Recent study conducted at the Pew Research Centre, about 4 in 10 adults between the ages of 25 to 54 are not married. That is also probably the MGTOW effect, because the Pew Research Centre is based in the United States. The fact that women don't want to get married is throwing... The fact that men don't want to get married is throwing a lot of marriage-minded women and society in general in a loop. We've seen that on TikTok. Why get the government involved? The rise of gender equality. The big reason men don't want to get married anymore seems to be a rise of gender equality. Marriage is initially designed with the hierarchy standards in mind that I covered before. Social expectations are becoming a provider. In other words, going from a free horse to a cart horse. Despite the rise of gender equality, many men feel the social pressure of becoming the provider of a relationship. Less time for a career. Society just doesn't want you to get married. It also has a ticking clock to the entire prospect. Society wants the guy to be married and having children by he's 35. And social life killer. Time is limited, a job and a family. You can have very little time left over to yourself. No more religion. Loneliness isn't a problem. Dating apps make sure of that. One swipe the Tinder is enough to drive the Saturday night loneliness away. And that too without any commitment involved. The concept of friends with benefits is getting more and more common. Plus, a guy's got hobbies like World of Warships or World of Tanks. Or armour. Or EVE Online. You can fulfill your emotional bodily needs in these relationships without signing a single piece of paperwork. After I just said. The online gaming, it gets involved and you pass the time. It's an expensive party. They're waiting for the right person, that be the woman, the guy with 3 sixes. It's a normative concept. The entire idea of marriage is normative religious motivations that originally drove it. And rising divorce rates and expenses again. The ongoing originating from dysfunctional families. Some of these women, they come from really dysfunctional families, and the guys have seen the effects, and the guys don't want to go down that road. And that's the article. Now these, at the top, this one, mouse is playing up again. This, and this are all written by women. I've also found this. Now, the Standard is one of the main newspapers in Kenya, in Africa. This was done on January 28, 2023. College girl, African lady called Mercy's dream was to meet a well-off man, probably in his 30s, settle down, start a family. Not to be put off, she got a doctorate. Her age began to catch up with her, i.e. the African wall. Then she secured a well-paying job that enabled her to buy a home and a car. These are things that make women get married. She like in the West, she's thinking the men are interested in what job she got and what car she drives. Mercy wanted to have children, but she's 30, and the wall devised a foolproof plan. She shacked up with a family man and got knocked up by him without any strings. What the man did not know was all that Mercy wanted was getting pregnant. I gave birth to his child, but he still has no idea that he made me pregnant. And then it goes, article, which you can read because I will naturally put all their links below. It seems like westernized feminism and the women in the West, the ideology has gone into Kenya. But Kenyan men are turning their back on marriage. It's fine to have a boyfriend. I've been dating someone since my son turned 5. In other words, a Kenyan single mother. That is all the bitterness being left in the cold. And then it goes down. Far too much for me to go through in 10 minutes. But as you can see, people, MGTOW effect is giving an effect on the mainstream media, because more and more guys are turning their back on marriage, and it's starting to have a profound effect. And these articles prove that. If I find anything more, I'll carry on with this next week, but I think I'm way over the 10-minute mark now, so I'll wrap it up now. You know the routine: like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. So until next Monday, that's it for this one. Bye bye.